You know, a lot of folks talk about deficit reduction, as a political tool, but when it comes down to it, we've got to make choices. We've got to make choices. These priorities reflect our values. I've cut $1 trillion worth of spending that we didn't need, and I'm willing to do more. But just as we did when Bill Clinton was president, we've got to ask the wealthiest to pay a little bit more so we can reduce the deficit and still invest in the things we need to grow. Now, I will not turn Medicare into a voucher just to give millionaires another tax cut. I'm not going to make college more expensive for young people just to give me a tax cut. I don't need it. I don't want it. Because I believe America will be stronger if we're helping the next generation succeed. So New Hampshire, that's what changes. We know what the future requires, and we know it won't be easy. You know, back in 2008, I spent a lot of time here in New Hampshire. I know you guys, you saw a lot of me. And back then we talked about change we can believe in, but I said to people, I'm not just talking about changing parties or changing presidents. I'm talking about changing how our politics works. I ran because the voices of the American people, your voices, all of you, folks way in the back. Your voices have been shut out of our democracy for way too long by lobbyists and special interests and politicians who are willing to say anything and do anything just to keep things the way they are. The protectors of the status quo. And for the last 4 years, those protectors of the status quo, they have fought us fiercely every step of the way. They spent millions to try to stop us from reforming the healthcare system. Spent millions trying to stop us from reforming Wall Street. They engineered a strategy of gridlock in Congress, refusing to compromise on ideas that traditionally both Democrats and Republicans have supported. And what they're counting on now is that you're going to be so worn down by the squabbling and the dysfunction and the arguing and the bickering that you're just going to give up, walk away, and leave things the way they are. Leave folks who have the power right where they are. In other words, their bet's on cynicism. But New Hampshire, my bet's on you. My bet's on you. And by the way, when I talk about fighting for what we care about, this isn't a partisan fight. When the other party has been willing to work with me to help middle-class families, I'm right there with them. I love that. When we cut taxes for middle-class families and small businesses, we got Republican help. When we came together to repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell, we had some courageous Republican senators who supported it. As long as I'm president, I will work with anybody of any party to move this country forward. And if you want to break the gridlock in Congress, you'll vote for leaders who feel the same way, whether they're Democrats or Republicans or independents, folks like John Lynch, folks like Jeanne Shaheen. You'll vote for candidates like Amy Custer, Carol Shea Porter. You'll make Maggie Hassan the next governor of New Hampshire. Next election. Your governor sets a great example of that. But you've also got to have principles. You got to have something you stand for. And if the price of peace in Washington is cutting deals to kick students off of financial aid or get rid of funding for Planned Parenthood, or let insurance companies go back to discriminating against people with pre-existing conditions, or eliminate millions of people on Medicaid who rely on it for their health care, the poor, the disabled, the elderly. That's not a deal I'm willing to take. That's not a price I'm willing to pay. That's not bipartisanship, and it's